Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stop Being Sold, a community of informed consumers who are sick and tired of being sold financial products they don't understand or need. So if you're tired of being a transaction, go ahead and hit that notification bell and also the subscribe button so you don't miss another video from us. And while you're at it, if you like this content, go ahead and give us that like button. Hit that like button. That'd be great. How are you today, Brian?
Doing great, Michelle. How about yourself?
Fantastic. Thank you. So today we're going to talk about target date funds. This is pretty important considering how many people are enrolled by their own doing or automatic enrollment. So if you have a 401k and you're in target date funds and you know it, or you have no clue what you're enrolled in, this is a video for you. It won't be a long one. Just stop and just really get informed about what you have. Considering most people who have 401ks, it's the largest asset they have. So it's important to know what's inside it, I should say. So without further ado, what the heck is a target date fund? We'll start there.
And Michelle, you're right. 90 million plus people in the United States have a target date fund. So today's video, we hope you get some value from it, because today we're really going to go deep into what a target date fund is. And to begin with, it's just like a mutual fund. It's a type of mutual fund. So we've heard that word before in our investing lifetime, right? But it was designed to simplify, I hate using rabbit ears, but simplify retirement savings, kind of like a set it and forget it. Investing in a single target date fund is like buying a fully diversified retirement portfolio that is based only on your age of retirement. And that's where it gets its name from, target date. So what it's doing, Michelle, is targeting a date in your future when you expect to retire.
Okay, so it's not taking into account your risk tolerance. It doesn't take into account anything what's going on in the economy, what's going
inflation,
nothing. Yeah. No. All right. So it's just your date. I am going to, let's say I'm going to retire in 35 years, which I'm not, but let's just use that. Then it would be a fund. So like a 2020 fund, 2030 funds. This is what you see when you have a target date fund, 2050.
Right.
Are they out that far? Yeah, they are, right?
So there's 2022. And if you expect to retire in 22 more years, you'd buy a 2045 target date fund. Okay. Just to give you an example. So.
Okay. All right. So how do they work?
Okay. They were designed, like I said, to simplify and a set it and forget it. Basically, you just purchase it. You automatically get enrolled into it in your 401k, whatever it may be, and you let the professional money manager take care of it. As you get closer to your retirement date, it evolves, or what's called a glide path. It follows this glide path till you get to your retirement. The closer you get to retirement, the more conservative the fund manager gets. So you move more from equities into bonds at that time, the closer you get to retirement. It's that simple.
Okay.
And that's why they call it a simple, easy, set it and forget it. And
which is what people do. Some of them don't even know they have it.
That's the issue, Michelle. With 90 million people, how many of you can raise your hand and tell me that you have a target date fund in your 401k, or even know what's in your 401k?
Right. Right. So what are some key things that people need to know, like key points about target date funds?
Okay. Here's the biggest thing is it may be simple. It may be easy. Yeah. Kind of like putting Staples used to have this ad all the time with pushing that easy button.
Easy button, right.
Well, guess what? They're not guaranteed against losses. Okay, so don't think that you're going to put your money into there and, I'm going to have all this money when I get to retirement. Remember, they're a basket of portfolio investments that could be stocks, could be bonds, could be equities that can decrease in value, causing your investment in a target date fund to actually lose money.
Well, right. And especially you mentioned earlier when you asked how it worked, the fund managers are moving the closer you get to retirement, the more the fund moves its allocation to more conservative right? It becomes more conservative investments. So if you're getting ready to retire when the market is pumping and doing really well, but you're in really conservative funds, you don't end on a bang.
No, you don't.
You know?
And that's an issue. So
And that's not so much guaranteeing against losses, but you do the math if it's a high, and like we're going into now, a high inflationary environment. And what if interest rates start to go up, and it could be maybe not in your best interest. Is that how I should say it?
And think about some studies that we've seen recently about the 2008, 2009 financial crisis of people that were ready to retire and they were in target date funds that talked about the amount of losses, substantial losses in their portfolio. So you, again, this is your most valuable asset. If it's inside your 401k, it could be your most valuable asset. Make sure you follow along and stay tuned with what's happening inside there.
For sure. Okay, so the target date funds are not guaranteed against losses. What else is there that we need to know?
Okay, so let's take, you've seen different examples. Sometimes you'll see them inside of 401k or even outside the portfolio. Okay, so like XYZ 2025 target date fund and ABC 2025 target date fund. Even though they're the same year as far as maturity, when you're going to hit that date, they could be very different, because you have to look at if the investment manager is managing it differently, if the fees are different, what's the underlying investments inside there. So funds with different, the similar target dates can be completely different. Some have more conservative, some have more aggressive. Just depends on the fund.
But just because something is a 2035 or a 2030 fund does not mean that it's equal.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's the easiest way to think about it. So,
okay. What else is there that investors need to understand?
Okay. Think about your 401k. Inside there, you get this big old menu of different target date funds and different investments in there. Could even have company stock in there. If you're combining target date funds with other investments, it can definitely affect your overall asset allocation.
Okay.
So target date funds are designed, Michelle, to be a standalone investment. So that fund manager wants to come in and manage that target date fund until you hit that retirement date. And you don't want to deviate, kind of like a horse in the Kentucky Derby, putting the blinders on. You don't want to go to the left. You don't want to go to the right. You want to keep straight in the path, in that glide path to get you to retirement. So having other funds or even stocks could change your overall asset allocation
within the 401k, right?
Yeah.
So
within or even without. So just remember that. So
within the 401k itself or within the target date fund? Can you be more specific?
Inside your 401k, you can have a target date fund and equities, but also outside. So let's say you have a 401k at work that's just target date funds, but you have outside investments like a cash account at TD Ameritrade or Schwab or something like that.
Okay.
And you're 100% equities over here, but over here, you're 100% target date funds. So that changes your overall asset allocation.
The big picture asset allocation. Okay, now that makes sense. Okay, got it. All right, interesting. Okay, so is there anything else?
Yeah, so think about this. Let's say you hit that your retirement date. You're at 2040. It's 2045. Your 2045 target date funds supposedly at your maturity. You're ready to retire. What's in that account doesn't mean you've actually saved enough to meet your goal. And to me, that's a false assumption.
For sure it is.
Setting up like automatic enrollment into a target date fund, you weren't asked how much money do you need in retirement.
Right. Well, because that's not it doesn't matter. You're asked your birthday and when you're going to retire.
You're exactly right.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about how to choose a target date fund.
Okay. So let's say you're ready to go. You decide that a target date fund is your best item to invest in for your retirement. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if you're age 30 and you want to retire at age 65, you find the closest target date fund to that 35 years in the future. It's that simple. And that's it. That's all you can do with the target date fund.
But can you choose your risk? I mean, can you have any kind of tolerance over your risk tolerance?
You know, you can determine your risk on other investments, but and let's go a little bit deeper into this. Okay, a way to determine your risk of that target date fund that you're choosing. Okay, so let's say you have two of them in 35 years out. Okay, what you can do is go to the fund's prospectus. It's a big, ugly, fat book about that target date fund specifically. It's written by attorneys.
Right.
Okay, so it's hard to understand, but go to the table of contents first. And here's what you want to look for. You need to determine which one of the two target date funds meets your time horizon. So if it's both of them say 35 years, okay, they're at 35 years, you've narrowed it down to that, right? But now you go in, there's sections in the table of contents that says, how are your funds invested? And that will help you with your risk. Some of them are overly conservative. Some of them are more aggressive. And so you need to look at that. Also, you need to look at what are the fees?
The fees, absolutely.
The fees is huge because let's say, Michelle, both of them are 2035 and the fee over here is 1.5% year over year over year, but this one's 60 basis points. And okay, so you know you're talking 2.5% less, 2.5 times less in fees. But then you got to compare that with what is the performance that this fund has done? How long has it been out? And so a lot of things you have to look at that will help you determine your risk inside a target date fund.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. What happens if you get to choose it. Can you opt not to? Is my question. Can you always opt out of a target date fund? And what happens if you're automatically enrolled?
Okay.
And you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the automatic enrollment. Because that way I'll be able to answer the other question. Most 401ks today, you're automatically enrolled into a target date fund. I remember a video we did not too long ago, and we talked about automatic enrollment. And my son's company had sent this book, and it says, here's your target date fund based on your age. Well, that's it. But there was plenty of other investments that had outperformed year over year over year and lower fees than what the target date fund. So you're automatically enrolled to begin with. That doesn't mean that you cannot change into a different investment inside that menu. So that will help answer your second question.
So you're still real quick. So you're still in the target date fund, but you can select different investments within the menu, the target date fund menu.
No.
Or no. Okay.
No. So you got a target date fund, and then you got mutual funds or stocks inside there. So you can opt out of that target date fund completely, Michelle.
And
pick other investments.
And you have there's a menu of other investments that, got it. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So if you're automatically enrolled, most likely in your 401k, it automatically goes into a target date fund. Okay.
And oftentimes I've seen it where people, I've had friends call and say, hey, look, I'm in this thing and I didn't want to be in this thing. I'm in this thing. And it says like after 6 months or after a year, you can change it.
Yeah. Call your HR department and figure out how soon it is that you can change out of that if you decide to go a different route.
Got it. Okay. All right. So you can opt out of target date funds. You're not automatically stuck in them forever.
You're exactly right. I'm not a big fan of automatic enrollment. Yes, they say it's easy and it will force you to save money, which I agree with that. We need to force consumers to save more money because in their 401k, this will be for the majority of the people retiring, it will be your largest asset you will ever have.
Absolutely.
So we want you to invest into it, especially if the company's matching funds, this, that, and the other. But I'm not a big fan of telling you that the only thing you can go into is something based only on your age, not risk factor, what your tolerance to risk is, what the economy's doing, what inflation is doing, what the Fed is doing. There's a lot of
what regulations are out and about, whatever taxation. It doesn't,
taxes is another big one, right?
Change the policy, right? So, okay. So I think part of this goes back to there's very little education.
Right.
When you go to a new company or you're new in the job force and, hey, here's your 401k, oh, look at me, I'm doing the right thing, which is, I've spoken numerous times on our videos about how I've screwed up doing that, thinking, oh, I'm getting life insurance, oh, I'm doing a Roth IRA, oh, I'm doing this. And I just think I'm doing a good thing because I have it, but I have no flipping clue what's happening with my money.
Right.
Or why I'm in that particular thing. This is obviously in the past. So,
and that's honestly, Michelle, that's one of the main purposes of this channel.
Sure.
Taking 23 years of me in financial services, going on 24 now.
Almost 24.
Going on 24 now. But taking that experience, what consumers have asked over them 24-year period, and what they were sold, products that they were sold that made absolutely no sense for them to ever be in. And that's one of the main purposes of this.
Well, and in the case of target date funds, you're not even sold it. You're just told that's what you have.
Yeah, but you're sold it because you're automatically enrolled into it.
Right.
Okay, so you're sold, but you didn't feel like you were sold.
Just told what to do.
But
take your target date fund.
Use our channel to help you through this. Make sure that if you're getting a target date fund and you're automatically enrolled into it, make sure this is what you want and then it meets your specific retirement goals. And don't hesitate to reach out for help, as this is your number one asset in retirement for the majority of people.
For the majority of people, absolutely. All right. Well, we are going to do, Brian, we're talking about before this call, how we need to really dig deep into target date funds and a bit more about, asset allocation and just 401ks in general, because there is a lot of misinformation, assumptions, and people don't know what you don't know. So be on the lookout for some more videos from us on that for sure. We'll go deep into this.
Awesome.
If you like the content of this video, give us that like button, please. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. If you hit the notification bell, you'll actually get notified.
Yes.
Learned that the other day. I was like, why am I not getting notifications from this particular channel? And I'm like,
hit the button.
Right, exactly. So thanks, Brian. And thanks to everybody who's watching. If you have any questions about target date funds or 401ks, just drop them in the comments below. If you want us to cover something, we're more than happy to do that.
Definitely. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.